Okay. Not technically skilled here. I'm very sorry about that. I'm quite bad at getting the technical stuff going. This is only my second live stream ever. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the second live stream. Sorry it took a second. I had to set up the microphone, so I hope this sounds really nice. This is a new microphone that I got. Here, we don't need to see all that ugliness in my dormitory. Yes, it's a bit hard to do these kind of live streams in this environment. This is a little early for my roommates. I thought it's not too rude to do a video at 8 a.m., but they are probably sleeping. They like to sleep in late, as I do as well. I'm not used to getting up early, you guys. I got up at like 7 a.m. Good, the mic sounds great. I'm happy to hear that because I bought this nice thing and I didn't even know how to use it. Story of my life. It keeps happening again and again and again. And I don't have any live streaming software set up. I'm such a newbie, but this is the first time I'm doing this alone. The last live stream, there was a live stream I did a few weeks ago and I deleted it. I'm sorry about that. The reason is because the microphone was not connected to the computer and I just felt like that was such a waste. So I actually deleted it. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, if you haven't noticed. And if I don't feel like something went well, then I usually want to redo it. And then I looked at the average watch time for you guys for the last live stream, and it was really short. It was like 4 minutes. So yes, I deleted it because it looked like people were frustrated with the sound and they weren't watching for very long, as opposed to the live stream I did with Amy from Blondie in China, which was about 9 minutes on average. So I could tell people were frustrated with the bad audio. But hey, you're here now. We have over 200 people in the chat right now. It's a little overwhelming for me. I'm going to try to check out all of your messages as they come through. Hello from the Philippines. Yeah, I love the Philippines. I went there. You guys probably haven't seen many of my travel videos, but I did quite a few of those. So I think you all know me. I'm Anming. I am a newbie YouTuber, newbie live streamer. Basically don't know what I'm doing at all, so forgive me. And I'm also a big klutz. So let me show you what happened the other day. This was stupid. Let's see something stupid I did. You see this lens? Does that look a little funny? This is my nice Canon camera. I have a nice camera too. Normally I use the GoPro, but I have a nice one too. Does that look a little funny? A little off? Yeah, I dropped it on the ground. It fell, and I think I broke it. I think this is going to be about $250 to replace. So, ouch. I don't know if this can be fixed or if I have to buy a new one. But if I do have to buy a new one, that's just too bad. Can you collab with this person? Can you collab with that person? I don't know about doing a whole bunch of collabs with already established YouTubers. I kind of like doing collaborations with people that haven't been discovered yet. And by the way, they're a lot nicer and a lot humbler than the people that have big YouTube channels already. Question, were you always set on going to Fudan, or were there any other schools on the table, such as Peking or Tsinghua? That's an interesting question, because in America, if you apply to school, then they will tell you at least by April if you got in or not. And China is not that way. In fact, they'll tell you last minute as a foreign student. And I had given up on going to, I had given up on China. I thought that they were going to accept my application. This is back in 2017, and they didn't. And the process is just strange. So I didn't get my acceptance letter until about August. And I thought that I wasn't going to get in. But before I went to Fudan, I actually applied to some other schools. I had applied to Tsinghua and I applied to Beijing University, or I tried to. And what surprised me is just the schedule being off again between the US and China and how their universities work. And I went to apply at the end of December, which would be totally fine at an American school. And guess what? It was too late to apply to Beijing University. So I never got that application in. It could have been my whole academic career could have been different. I could have been at Beijing University rather than at Fudan. But I think that going to Fudan was better because I like Shanghai. I like warmer climates. I've already spent 2 years in Beijing, so I kind of wanted to change it up and go to Shanghai. So I was slowly making my way from Harbin to Beijing to Shanghai, just a little bit further south every time in China, and moving further and further south. And here now I ended up in Japan. I'm just going to get right into the good stuff. Some questions I'm sure that you guys want answers to, and that is, are you going back to China? And my answer keeps changing as we go along, as time goes by. If you guys didn't know, I'm here in Tokyo. This is not China. This is not America. It's not China. Although we're doing this more in American time and somewhat European time, so you guys can watch. It's 8 a.m. here. We're going to do an hour and a half this time. So am I going back to China? If you had asked me this question a few months ago, I would have said, of course. I have a boyfriend there. I have to graduate there. I delayed my graduation, you guys. I was like one dissertation, a 5-minute presentation away from graduating. And I ended up delaying graduation so that I could have a chance to get back into China during this coronavirus thing where tourists and nobody else is allowed in. And up until about November up until about December, I would have said, yeah, I'm still going back. Thank you very much for the live chat, super chat there, WRX Turbo. I appreciate it. That'll be my morning Red Bull. If you know, I really like Red Bull a lot. So am I going back to China? Honestly, you guys, I'm not happy about the China thing. I feel like I was just standing on my own 2 feet, and then I got the rug pulled out from beneath me, and then nobody cared. The government let in all these business people and just kind of said, screw you to the students, and that really hurt bad. And I don't think that I'm going back to China. I think that as of about last month, I had given up on it. And that was a hard decision because I was really set on going back and resuming my life there, and to have all these changes and suddenly to start looking for a job in Japan is a big change, because I had spent so much time learning business Chinese. And yes, I do speak Japanese fluently, but it's not the business level that my Chinese had gotten to, because I spent so many more years there, 6 years in China and 2.5 years living in Japan. Although I've learned Chinese for about 8 years and Japanese for about 5 years, but my Chinese and Japanese on the videos, I think it sounds about the same. I think it sounds about the same. You can't tell the difference, but in reality, writing and more professional language, the Chinese is much more advanced. So I just have to kind of pick myself up again and get my level up in Japanese. And I'm not too happy with China. I really felt like they just kind of abandoned me, and that was a bummer. How old are you? I keep getting this question. How old are you? Hey, it doesn't matter. Age ain't nothing but a number, you guys. Doesn't matter. Somebody applied for the University of Tokyo today. Congratulations. That is the best university in all of Japan. That's amazing. I hope you get in. I was at Fudan University. I don't regret anything about going there, but it looks like I will be staying in Japan. So another question, what happens to the boyfriend in China? Well, you guys, one thing that I think you should know about living in Japan is a lot of people really prioritize their work, and he was one of them. And I could not get back into China. I've tried for many, many, many months, even trying to get an English teaching job there just to get a visa to go back. Oh my gosh, it's impossible. It really is impossible, because they have this bureaucratic cycle of crap that I can't get through. And yeah, about the only thing that was left is about the only thing that was left is for him to quit his job and come back here. And we kind of had an ultimatum, so he's not going to do that. So that's the bummer about that. Is The interesting thing about dating in Japan is that they really want to label the relationship very early, from the first couple of weeks. Hey, are we together? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? They want to put a label on it very fast. But when it comes time to, don't hurt the microphone. I'm sorry. This is not a professional setup. But when it comes time for a couple to like call it quits in Japan, there's no really definitive we're done moment. So that's kind of strange. Is your boyfriend Chinese? No, I was dating a Japanese guy in China, in Shanghai, for about 1.5 years, although most of that was long distance, to be honest. And when they first start dating, they want to put a label on it really quickly. But then when it's time to like call it quits, they'll just kind of fade out. There's no big argument like there is in America when you finish a relationship. Okay, from this day, we're done. Go ahead, date other people. We're not together anymore. That doesn't really happen. So it's kind of a slow fade out. And that was weird for me. But I guess we're not talking anymore. So yeah, that's how it is. Gantech, thank you so much. Did you break your camera lens? Funny thing about me, I'm extremely clumsy. And yes, I did break my camera lens, as it appears. Look at that. That's not right. That don't look right. Look at that. Oh no, I know. I need some help. I think I gotta buy a new one, you guys. I don't think there's any fixing this. It fell right off the table in my house. So thank you for that donation, because maybe I have to buy one. Otherwise, I can't use this camera. It's definitely broken. I don't know how to fix that. Love you from Australia. Come visit after COVID. Funny thing is, I was supposed to visit Australia. I have friends there. And then, of course, with all this coronavirus stuff and Australia being completely locked down, I couldn't get in there. I'm a 14-year-old trying to learn Japanese. Good, you have a way better start over me. I didn't start until like way later. How about kanji? Well, learning kanji is just a matter of repeating over and over and over again, and writing again and again and again, getting sheets of paper and just filling them up every day. I see my Yakuza friend, Yakuza buddy in the chat. To be honest, there are Yakuza that live in this area. Yakuza is a Japanese mafia. There are Yakuza that live in my neighborhood. The only time I ever blurred out someone's face, they weren't wearing a mask either. The only time I ever blurred out someone's face in a video was when I actually did meet someone who I seriously thought was a Japanese mafia guy. And I didn't feel very safe putting his video up there without blurring the face out. And yeah, they are in this area. No joke. That's for real. Is the Japanese mafia real? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's a couple topics that I wanted to get into, and I'm going to try to spend more time looking at the chat. And yes, hello, Peru. Hello, Ireland. Hello, everybody. Welcome. How could you tell that guy was Yakuza? Because of the way he talked, because of the things he said to me. He was talking to me. I cut this all out. Sometimes when there's really cringy content, I can only put so much on. I don't want to torture you guys with stuff that's way too cringy, and that was pretty bad. The guy said something about being able to get me a visa, and don't worry, I have connections, and come work for us, we'll get you a visa. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely going to cut that from the final footage. And I did. And I cut a lot of stuff out that I protect you guys. Yeah, I don't want you to see some of the harsh realities here in Japan. Okay, let's go to some of these topics I have here about China and Japan, and some things that really shocked me, because today's topic is living in China and Japan. So let's get to the point. Something that really shocked me is how distant the families are, how distant the relationship is. For example, in China, families are super close. I mean, your family is everything, and you'll do anything for your family, and they'll do anything for you. But here in Japan, I was surprised how how little the grandparents do. For one, when they have grandchildren, they don't do much to take care of their grandkids. And that was kind of surprising to me. I was almost raised by my grandkids, by my grandparents. Oh my gosh. I was almost raised by my grandparents. You guys, it's early. It's like 8:20 a.m. I'm not used to this. I usually get up at noon. No, not quite, but pretty late. Jason, thank you for the super chat. I hope this helps with the camera fund. I'm sure it will. Every little bit helps. This was unexpected. That really sucks. But I'm very, very clumsy. Indian families are tightly knit as well. I imagine they are. I haven't seen so many countries with families with such loose ties as Japan. That's really shocking to me. And the grandparents don't do a lot to raise the children. As a person who was almost raised by their grandparents, that's very strange to me. I was at my grandparents' house like every single weekend or every single week because my parents had to work. But in China, they're very close. They'll do anything for the family. Here in Japan, not so much. In fact, sometimes they barely see their family. They'll be living close or far away. It doesn't seem to matter. They don't see them a lot. And when they have kids, no wonder why a lot of Japanese don't want to have kids, because their parents don't help them a lot. They don't watch the grandkids, which, man, that's tough. My parents were 23 years old when I was born. My parents are very young, you guys, very young. So I don't have to worry about them too much. And if they didn't get help from my grandparents, then they just wouldn't be able to make it. I know as much as I read in the comments, and I do read every single comment. When I heart the comment, that means I read it. I do read every comment. I get a lot of, of course, hate comments and whatever. And as much as people want to say, you're a privileged person who's living off of your parents' money in Japan, mommy and daddy are paying for all this. Absolutely not. They are not paying for anything. They didn't even pay for my college or anything. I paid for that on my own, which is why I had a lot of debt. I think you guys have heard me say in a few videos that I had a lot of university debt, $60,000 of debt when I graduated, because I paid for that out of pocket, because I don't live off of my parents' money as much as people want to paint a picture like I do. Super chat just came in. Thank you very much from, was this Han Katsuri? Anming, my contribution, and stay safe. Love your videos. Thank you so much. That'll help support the camera fund. This is no joke. I really did break it. I really am that clumsy. True. $60,000 of debt when I graduated from university. I didn't have a car. The first car that I bought was when I was maybe, early 20s, 22 years old. And it was a 1994 Jeep Cherokee. That car was already freaking old. It was like almost the same age as me. And that was $2,000, and it broke down quite a lot. I did not have the kind of wonderful life that these people in the comments section are putting up. Maybe they just saw the video of my house or something, or my dad's house in America, and put two and two together. And actually, the houses in Michigan are very cheap. You would be surprised what you could get for just, not that much money out in the Michigan countryside where nobody wants to live. So that surprised me that the families here are not that close, but in China and Japan, they will normally pay for the kids' schooling. It's kind of goes without saying, but for me as a person who had to pay for that $60,000 out of pocket, that I don't feel like it's a great idea to pay for the parents to pay for kids' schooling 100%. I think they need to get a job. I think they need to be a little independent, work. My first job in high school was a Subway sandwich artist. Artiste. I made those turkey sandwiches, and I was, really creative with it because I was an artiste. So I had a job in high school, and I had a job all through college. Believe it or not, I was campus security when I was a university student. A little fun fact about me there. And thank you so much, you guys, for helping me, because good news, I am debt-free as of this year, starting off 2021, debt-free. And did someone say prestigious school sweater? This is from like a cosplay shop or something. You guys are funny. You're just making up stories here. Yes, I am finally debt free thanks to you. So I have to say, YouTube has really been a blessing. I would have never thought in a million years that I would become a YouTuber, but because of the success of this channel, I paid off my university debt. Finally, $60,000. Boom, paid off. Not that it was all paid off through YouTube, but I had paid some before that. So thank you very much. I'm so happy to be debt free. Joe is going to leave. Joe Templeton, my battery's low. I might need to go soon. Plug it in, Joe. This is important stuff. You got to be here. All right. So what's your job? I think this is an important topic too. Ooh, oh my God. Guys, I keep touching the mic. Somebody just asked, what's your job? Let me tell you what my job was. Camera fun, sending love and light, Anming, from Marissa. Thank you, Marissa. I appreciate that because I got to shove out $250 for a new lens, I guess, all of a sudden after I just bought this new microphone. It's kind of overwhelming. But hey, I'm debt-free, so that's good too. What was my job? What was my job in America? I was a marketing major, so I guess that's my only success to YouTube. My only advantage is that I am a marketing major, so I'm used to promoting things. And this is kind of my area of expertise, advertising, making kind of commercial content. So that helped with YouTube, although I don't have technical skills. I just finally figured out how to hook the microphone up correctly. Last time everybody got mad because I didn't do it right. I'm sorry, you guys. Michigan gang, Chris, thank you. Michigan represent. I'm from the Detroit area. I was born in Detroit, so I tell people I'm from Detroit, but I did not grow up there. I will admit that. I didn't grow up in Detroit, but I worked in downtown Detroit and I was born there. And Adam said, just in case you didn't read my first comments for chat, have you ever visited Korea? Plans to go there? I have visited Korea and I really want to learn Korean. So getting back to that question, what was my job? I was doing marketing, and I gave up a really good job to come to China and come to Japan. In fact, my family thought I was crazy. They're like, what are you doing? You're giving up this really good job that you had just to run away and go teach English for a much lower salary in China and Japan. The salary for China for teaching English is surprisingly low. You could expect to make about $20,000 a year, I think is fair. And then you can do private tutoring on the side. $20,000 is a lot of money in China considering your rent. For me in Harbin, that little city in the north of China, my rent was about, I don't know, it was like $300 a month, $200 a month. So you can save a lot of money. In Japan, the average teaching salary is maybe $25,000, $30,000 a year. I think people are making about $30,000 a year, which isn't that different from China. So that's why China is a really appealing place. If you want to go and teach English, the salary is about the same as Japan, but the cost of living is way lower. So you can just live like a king over there, live like a king or a queen. And yeah, that's nice. But some people, I read online, like people have too much time on their hands, man. People went through my comments and pulled stuff out. And I had said something about getting a job here in Japan for the visa, just basically to get a visa. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess you couldn't make it on YouTube. I guess you needed another job, an ALT job to support you. ALT, what is ALT? ALT is an assistant language teacher. And I have never been an ALT in Japan. I'm not into that. I don't want to be an assistant language teacher. I want to be the main language teacher if I'm going to be a language teacher. So I work at a conversation school, and it's kind of a part-time job. And it's not because I couldn't make it on YouTube. You guys have been really nice. I mean, the videos have been doing really well. December was an amazing month. I couldn't believe it. That was one of the best months this channel has ever had. January was one of the worst. January just crashed, but that usually happens after a really good month. I could definitely live off of that money, no problem. But the reality is that I'm in a foreign country. I need a visa, and I don't want to go through all the visa sponsorship by myself. And this is just an easy way of getting into a company. So I do teach. In fact, Today's my day off, but I have to work tomorrow. Today, I am teaching Japanese, believe it or not. I have a former colleague that wants to learn Japanese. He's been here for many years. He's American, and he wants to learn Japanese. So I'm teaching him for a small fee, like $20 an hour. And I'm going to go teach him after our live stream today. Our live stream will be an hour and a half. So it's been a half hour. We're going to do another hour. So stay in there. I know a lot of Europeans are going to want to be going to bed because it's late for them. I changed the time for you guys so more of you could watch. But I'm finally teaching someone Japanese. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I told him, don't you want someone that's a native speaker to teach you? Why me? Like, I don't know. It was his decision. He said the native speakers keep switching to English with me. You're the only one that will just keep it 100% Japanese. And I said, okay, well, that's good. So now I'm a Japanese teacher, at least, on Mondays, I'm a Japanese teacher. That's not part of my sponsored visa job here, but it's something I do on Mondays, and I'll do this. A lot of people have asked me, why don't you teach Chinese on this channel? Why don't you teach Japanese? Teach me kanji, teach me beginner level Japanese, beginner level Chinese. You guys, I don't know. It seems like every language YouTuber gets into that, and they feel the need to have to teach everybody or start a Patreon where they're teaching everyone. And I just don't feel the need to do that because there are professional companies out there. Why don't I just recommend these companies that have entire offices in downtown Tokyo, like Japanese Pod 101, the one I always recommend, the one that's in my video description. Why don't I recommend them rather than trying to reinvent the wheel here? Not every language YouTuber needs to start teaching from scratch. There's a lot of good stuff out there. So I would rather recommend it to you guys, though maybe I'll do a few lessons, but I don't see the need to be dedicating the majority of my channel to teaching Japanese. There are already people that do that. Dogen is one of them, and he's good at what he does. That's his thing. If I were to say there's a strategy for this channel, it's to be more like kind of like Bald and Bankrupt. I was very inspired by that YouTuber. His name is Bald and Bankrupt, and he speaks 2 languages too. And he goes around, he just has surprising, fun, crazy, spontaneous interactions with locals. All right, there's a lot of language reaction videos out there. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This might be surprising. I'm glad I'm saying it in the middle and not in the beginning when most people are still watching. I don't like language reaction videos. I don't even like my own videos. That's the truth. I don't like my own videos that are language reaction videos. That's the honest truth. Aaron Streeter, pennies for the Lens Fund. Thank you for the content. Thanks so much, Lens Fund. I guess, I can pay for some of it out of pocket, but, I appreciate all the help. I'm getting a lot of help today, including from our moderator, Greg Potter. He's such a nice guy. Greg helped me with the last one too. And Greg is the reason that we have this second live stream. I felt so discouraged after the last one failed because it didn't hook the microphone up that I was ready to quit. And Greg got me back on the horse. He encouraged me to try it again. So I appreciate that, Greg. And he set up the thing with Amy from Blondie in China and me. He's done a lot. So yeah, that's nice. Somebody asked in Chinese, 那怎么办?改变内容已经来不及了. He said, so what should we do? It's already too late to change the content. I said I don't really enjoy the reaction videos, but I did like that people were so into it and it inspired them. I don't think it's sustainable, you guys. I don't think it's sustainable. Maybe I will pick up Korean and then that'll be another thing to add to it. But basically, I was getting frustrated with the reaction videos because I'd make something like that Christmas video. There's a Christmas video where I saw a guy in a pig costume. And that's kind of hard to catch. So, but I put it in the video. And then there was a scene with me in the motorcycle and then a beauty parlor that I went into. I spoke Chinese and they were shocked about it. And I could see in the analytics, because I look at the analytics a lot. You guys skipped, not you guys, actually, I shouldn't say you guys. You 600, there's 600 people in the chat right now. Thank you to every single one of them. And also to Jason. I love the videos. He just sent a super chat. I love the videos when you are on Chinese television. Do you have other archived footage we haven't seen? Oh my gosh. Mark Young. Mark Young is in the chat. Oh my gosh, that's my friend from university. Thanks, Mark. I didn't think you were still watching. It's funny. Good friend of mine. Why don't I like the reaction videos? I never liked the titles of a lot of the other YouTubers. The white guy, white girl, black girl, black guy speaks blah, blah, blah language. I didn't like that kind of stuff. And don't call me a white girl. It actually makes me mad. If people say that, or in the comments, I never referred to myself as a white girl, and I'm not going to do that because I don't like that. Clickbait, yeah, there's clickbait, and that's the reason those titles are out there. But why didn't I like? Yeah, I am white. White, you're white. Big deal. Well, that's how I felt about it, and I didn't want to emphasize that. I think you can see from the picture that, yeah, I am a white girl, but we don't need to lay it on that thick. And I felt like, I wanted to see more real interactions, but I don't know if you guys are into real interactions. I can see people skipping over my videos, just skip over all that content that I spent so much time making just to see the funny faces. Got to see the funny faces. And the majority of my views are not coming from you guys. You guys are subscribers. Each video, the views, if you break it down, about 10% are coming from subscribers. And the other 90% are coming from people that are just passing by, unsubscribed. And they're really fickle, and they really annoy me because they skip over all the educational stuff, all the contextual stuff, all the stuff that I really wanted to say in the video. They just skip to see the funny face. And that made me quite angry with YouTube. For many, many months, I've never said it on any of the videos or talked to you guys about it, but it's not really talking to you guys because you're not doing it. You're not the ones skipping to the funny faces. But I felt really worn out by that. This is so stupid. Just, I want to see a funny face. Go. Or I talk to some of my friends or my Chinese roommates. Nope, don't want to watch that. Talk to strangers. And then I got these weird requests like, no, you need to go up and talk to them in English and pretend you don't know Japanese or don't know Chinese, and then suddenly switch. And I got really irritated by those messages, to be honest, or those requests like, what is this, a game? I'm trying to show real life here. And yes, in real life, some people are surprised if I speak to them in the language, but it doesn't match the shocking people content, doesn't really match real life. Thanks again for the super chat, Jason. Jason's really nice today. Hey. I appreciate that. A lot of people subscribe specifically for those videos, but to be honest, I really wanted to do something like the last couple of videos I did where I interview an interesting person. We have a full interview in Chinese or Japanese, and I realized that that's just not going to get the kind of views that the other ones did. I don't have the right audience. It's not because it's not a good video. In fact, some of those, like the piano one I did with a guy named Royce a few months ago, it took 3 months for that to pick up in the algorithm because my regular viewers, not necessarily subscribers like you, but my regular viewers killed the video. How did they kill the video? They didn't watch it. If this is recommended to you on your home screen and you don't click on it, then it hurts the performance of the video. YouTube is less likely to recommend it. Somebody said, my OCD does not allow me to skip your videos. Thank you. Please watch to the end. That's the best thing you could do. I mean, you don't have to give me, I appreciate the donations for the camera fund here, but you don't have to give me money. What I would like you to do, though, is to watch to the very end and don't skip the videos. And if there's a new video, please watch it because that helps. Otherwise, it's going to take 3 months before YouTube recommends that to a new audience. And that's the reason December was such a good month, is some of these old videos that I thought were good, you guys or the majority of the viewers weren't really into, they got picked up by a new audience. So sometimes I just need a different audience. Somebody said, if you want more views, start drama with unliked other J vloggers. Am I a J vlogger? Really? I if you look at my audience, it would say no, I'm not a J vlogger, because I have mostly, this is information between you guys and I, most of my viewers are the viewers of Xiaoma, Laoshu, and Aikina. They're not viewers of any of the J vloggers being Japan vloggers. I would rather have the J vlog audience, to be honest, because then I could do more videos about traveling and living here, and some topics that I wanted to do. I got a whole long list, and I feel like nobody wants to watch it, so I didn't even make the videos. That's kind of a sad thing. Couple of super chats. WRX Turbo for the camera fund. Thank you very much. And then somebody asked, any tips for organizing my Mandarin studies? I managed to get to HSK level 2 in December, but lately I have been feeling discouraged. Also, these lockdowns in Europe makes it hard to 联系我的口语. 联系 is a wrong kanji or wrong hanzi. That's to contact what you wrote. But being in lockdown is kind of a good thing for your language studies because it keeps you inside and focused on studying. Somebody said something, Xiaoma. Yeah, he's a huge YouTuber now. I got a lot of his viewers, not intentionally. In fact, I didn't want to do the same content as him. We're living in different countries. I wanted to do more about living here. Collab with Laoshu, no thank you. I'm trying to tell you guys, I don't want these people's audience. If you collab with them, then their people come over and I get more requests to pull pranks on people, or you got to speak to them in English first, so it's really shocking. It's not the kind of videos I wanted to make, you guys. Unfortunately, a lot of the earlier videos were kind of closer to that, and I got a lot of people expecting that kind of content now, and I'm really getting tired of making it. Or not tired of making it, just get frustrated with it when people skip over the parts that I really wanted to make, like explaining why Chinese people and Japanese people reject compliments. If you've seen many, many times in the videos, they will say, oh, your Chinese is so good, your Japanese is so good. And then you say, 没有没有, yeah, 没有那么好, or そんなことないですよ, 褒めすぎです in Japanese. Why do people reject the compliments, saying, no, it's not that good? Or why do I do it? Well, it's a custom here. You're pretty much expected to do that. And it's something that you get into the habit of doing as well. So it's not trying to be fake humble or anything. It's a cultural expectation, just as in America, you would expect someone to say, oh, thank you very much. That was nice of you. And another, okay, somebody sent a super chat, Mark G. I would totally pay for Patreon content that did more in-depth interviews. Maybe that's the best place to put it. I've thought about Patreon. I did quite a few videos, you guys, recently. I know you've been frustrated because I don't upload a lot. Why don't I upload a lot? I had said the excuse that I was busy with work, and there's some truth to that, but mostly it's because I thought you wouldn't watch the videos, so why should I bother putting 20 hours into making them? The 20 hours. Sometimes between the filming and the editing and uploading it takes about 20 hours. And I felt, this video is just going to fail. They're not going to watch it. It's not sensational enough. Why should I bother making it? And that's not a very nice thought, but I did feel that way. I filmed a couple of videos recently that I thought were really cool. And I didn't even post them. I didn't even edit them. How long does filming usually take? It depends. It used to be so easy when I would just walk into a Chinese restaurant and then they have a funny reaction or say something funny, and then I post that video. I could do that in a day. The videos now are taking so ridiculously long to edit, and I really have to think about that investment. Do I want to put 20 hours into making a video that's going to get 20 or 30,000 views? You may be wondering how much YouTubers make on videos. Well, if the video sells a lot of language software, then it doesn't really matter if it gets 30, 40, 50,000 views. That's fine. But if it's going off of AdSense only, then we're at the end of the day, when YouTube takes its cut, I'm making about somewhere between $2 to $4 per 1,000 views. You can do the math yourself. So if it's a video that gets 100,000 views, then that's about $400, and that's quite worth making, even though it's 20 hours to make a video. But a lot less than that, then you get to the point where it's like, I don't know if I should invest this time in this video that, I feel like it brings me back to when I was in America and I was making or visiting my family in America and showing them my travel videos that I made myself long before YouTube. And they're like, oh gosh, yeah, okay, Alyssa, watch your little video. Yeah. My mom and dad and family, they don't like to watch the videos or hear about the stories from China and Japan. So I felt like I was really forcing them to, hey, look at this. Come on, please watch it. Please. I spent so much time making this. And after starting YouTube and finding an audience that actually did like to watch my videos, I felt very nice. But then when I do these videos, I put a lot of effort into it, and then people don't watch it. Then it brings me right back to those days where I'm showing my family my home videos. Oh, please watch it. Come on, Grandma, just watch my video. This is kind of pitiful. So I'm not going to make stuff that I don't think people are going to watch. That's why I made a lot of reaction videos, because I knew that's what you guys wanted to see. A lot of people wanted to see. Patreon, I don't know. That's a heck of a lot of work. And I don't know. I had a couple of friends that they started that didn't work out for them. I would hate to see that happen too. This is many, many hours. This is a big investment. Somebody sent a super chat. Do you also feel like Chinese learners are very politically charged compared to like Korean or Japanese learners who like focusing on culture more? I think Chinese learners are put in that position that politics always gets brought up. There's a few YouTubers that, I don't know, they're living in China. I don't know if they know Chinese or not. They're super pro Chinese government. It's kind of shocking to me. One of them is also from Detroit. I wanted to make a video about him, but I think I will bite my tongue on this one. A little bit too pro China. China good, America bad. Some people get that attitude. I did in the beginning when I first moved to China, that I even made my family kind of irritated with it. Like, okay, enough about America doesn't have this, China does have that. And I think that was a phase for me, but I got out of it. And Nathan Rich, well, well, there's another guy that I was specifically thinking of. And I wrote, he's from Detroit too. But yeah, so are you going to learn Korean? Yeah, but you guys, I need to get a job here in Japan. I want an office job here in Japan, and that means bringing my Japanese up to business level, which I need to do. And I think an important thing about when you're learning another language is don't spread yourself too thin. Don't try to take on too many languages at once. You will end up doing all of them and doing none of them very well. You'll be the jack of all trades and master of none. I really believe in focusing on one thing. I mean, if it's a hobby, then fine, study as many as you want. But if you really want to go to the next level with this language, you want to use it for your career, then you need focus. And yes, I can do an interview in Japanese. I just did one with a very nice girl who's a rock star, upcoming rock star here in Japan. If you didn't see that video, I think a lot of you didn't see it yet. Please look at it. I love doing stuff like that, more in depth, so I can do a full interview in Japanese. But when it comes to like doing business level stuff, I don't feel super confident right now. So I got to up my skills there. Got to improve my Japanese, whereas I was ready to do that in Chinese. So I just feel like the rug got pulled out from under my feet here. China kind of left me in a bad position where I can't go back, and I'm just in this limbo for so long. Well, I gave up on the limbo. And that's that. And a few of you had asked about the boyfriend living in China. He was a Japanese guy. We were together for a year and a half. We're together. I'm using the past tense. Like I said at the beginning, Japanese people like to put a label on the relationship pretty quickly, you'll find. But when things start to fall apart, they don't break it off definitively. So how about now? I'd say we're not together now. I actually found someone else. And yes, I have a new boyfriend here in Japan. And I didn't say a lot. I didn't say anything on the videos so far about him. He's a nice guy. What's interesting about dating in China and dating in Japan is they're quite serious about it. They don't really casually date, especially if you start maybe in their early 20s. They'll be more casual about it, but they do like to put a label on it really quick, like in the first few weeks. You know, are we together? Okay, we're committed. We're a couple. So that's kind of interesting difference. And while you're dating in the beginning with Chinese and Japanese people, guys or girls or whatever, you're not really supposed to be checking out other people. I mean, like on the first date, if you date someone on a Monday and then you go out with another person on a Wednesday, that's pretty taboo in China and Japan to do that. And it's very common. It's very common in Tinder culture, America, to be doing that. But here, it's kind of considered borderline cheating, even if you're not in an official relationship with a person. That if you are, dating someone, dating multiple people just to check it out, it's pretty taboo here in Japan. So especially if you guys are getting into the post 20s age group, people in their 30s or older, whatever, they're pretty darn serious. They ain't messing around. And a lot of Chinese and Japanese people will date you on the condition, and they'll put it out there really early. This has not just happened to me with one person, but multiple people. You are expected to agree that you're open to the idea of marrying them right from the beginning. Not that you have to get married right now, but you are considering them as an option for marriage. They ain't messing around. Somebody asked, what about a 40-year-old, like a 40-year-old woman, 40-year-old man in Japan? Yeah, they ain't messing around. If you're dating them, even, pretty early on, they'll probably throw that out there that I'm dating you under or with the hopes that we're going to get married. And I appreciate that honesty. Yeah, I appreciate that honesty and that level of commitment, because it's not necessarily like that in America. Sorry, I keep messing with my hair. I feel like I'm having a bad hair day, bedhead, little bedhead. How many relationships have you been in? Not that many. What's your boyfriend's nationality? He's Japanese. He's been in multiple videos. You guys aren't watching my new videos. He's been in 2 videos already, although I didn't specifically say that was my boyfriend. He's been in 2 already. The best one where you could see him is one about, is your Japanese is good. Do they really mean it? And in that video, I talked about how Japanese people will almost always say, your Japanese is good, even if it's not. So I did a lot of interviews in cafes. So wait, so you have a boyfriend? Yeah, I said that. There's a new one. Stop talking about your boyfriends. Okay, I don't know what you want. Don't talk about it. Talk about him. Don't talk about him. Talk about him. Don't talk about him. Man, tough crowd. Somebody sent a super chat. You have inspired me to learn Japanese. Thank you. Thank you for, it disappeared. You've been using Pimsleur. What's your Japanese thoughts on weed? Weed? I thought weed was something you smoke. What are you talking about, weed? Is that an app? I don't know it. There's a million apps out there. As long as I haven't used that one, I'm sorry. Everything that I recommend in the videos, everything that I always put out there is stuff that I have used. I won't put out apps like other YouTubers do that they didn't even use to learn the language. I'm only recommending stuff that I actually used myself. I'm recommending that to you. Whoa, Jim Ross. Jim Ross donated last time from Canada. Great content for the Lens Fund. Woo, thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate that. Jim's a nice guy, man. That just bought me a new lens. That's so nice of Jim. And then somebody else, Billy the Kid. Is he the guy that you went to the Beyblade's place for the second time? Because he seems nice. That is correct. Yeah, a lot of people weren't watching the new videos, or not watching very carefully. In fact, all the growth that happened on this channel in December was from old videos. I don't think that the videos I'm making now are bad videos. The new ones are not bad videos, but they're not appealing to that language reaction audience that I have somehow developed here. And that's an unfortunate fact that maybe it will take several months before those YouTube recommends those videos to the right audience, so I can get some more diversity in my viewers as well. Rob Z said, "What do you think of Preply? I'm studying for my wife and daughter." I'm so sorry, you guys. And he made a big he made a donation to what are these things? I've heard of a couple. Duolingual. Yeah, I've heard of a couple. I don't use apps to study. There you go. I've never really used apps to study. I've used some software that I've recommended in the language videos or in the description. Every video has my recommendations, which are Pimsleur and Japanese Pod 101, Chinese Pod 101. Those are my recommendations. That's what I used. I'm not familiar with every single app. I don't think apps are a great way to learn. They can be good. They can keep you motivated, but yeah, at the end of the day, it is just an app. It really depends on your level of commitment and how hard you work. Duolingo, a lot of people talk crap about Duolingo, and I haven't used it. So I can't say much about it, but probably the best app you could possibly use is HelloTalk, because it's connecting you to real people. I've used HelloTalk many times for language exchange. I've met over 200 language exchange partners through HelloTalk. I think meeting with a real person or talking to a real person is going to outperform any app. You know, of course, you need to use books and you need to use maybe some audio lessons to get yourself started with the language, learn some vocab, and then you use HelloTalk to talk to a person and test out your skills and be corrected. I think that's the best way to study. If you're going to use an app, download HelloTalk. Jay Koss says, I had problems with Tagalog Pod 101. What part did you find most helpful from that site? Okay, any of the 101 series. I used their audio lessons. Their audio lessons were awesome. Audio lessons combined with the PDF file. So you go through, you read that PDF file, you take it out there and you go through these things and read out loud and correct your pronunciation out loud. I love to listen to their audio lessons. That was the most valuable thing, was listening to audio lessons on the train during your free time. I think all of you guys are really busy, right? You're all really busy people. You don't have time to just sit there for 3 hours and study a book, and that's pretty boring too. So use your downtime. Start utilizing your commute time, especially. And I did that. Somebody had asked what my job was before I came here. I was doing marketing, and I had worked at Chrysler for some time. Believe it or not, and I wanted to make a video about this, but I just am not confident about how many people are going to be interested. Believe it or not, I gave up a $62,000 a year job to come to China and work as an English teacher. Let that sink in. I gave up a $62,000 a year job right out of college, right out of university at Chrysler, to come to China. I know. My family said I'm crazy. And perhaps I am a little crazy. You know, that's what makes a YouTube channel a little more interesting. Oh, yeah. They still say I'm crazy for that. But I really wanted to. Yeah, you ruined your life. You could have had it all. You could have had a free car from Chrysler and going back and forth to these dealerships, working for Chrysler headquarters. Somebody said 62K in California is poverty line. Well, it's pretty darn good in Michigan. It's pretty darn good in Michigan. And at 22 years old, when I had first graduated from university, that was very tempting. But I decided to take a different path. For me, it was all about, you know, getting the best out of my 20s. I spent some time in an office. I did go back after 1 year in China and spend a year working at an office. And I felt like, you know, like I was a kid stuck in detention and everybody else was out on a playground and enjoying themselves in the sun. And yeah, it was good money. It was good money. But I felt like this 10 years or 8 years from 22 to 30 is going to be my time. This is my golden time, and I'm just going to use it however I want. I'm not going to be cooped up in an office. And once I turn 30, then we'll get serious, and it's time to go to an office job. But let me have this time for learning and going on an adventure. And that was my sacrifice. And that was the choice that I made. So yes, a lot of my family thought I was really quite crazy for doing that. I was a very dedicated university student. I wasn't dedicated in college. Oh, I'm sorry, in high school, but in college I was. And somebody asked, "Are you a weeb?" I'm so much not a weeb that I didn't even know what weeb meant until a couple months ago when I read it on YouTube. A weeb, for those of you that were like me and didn't know, is someone that's really into Japanese anime, Japanese otaku culture, and Japanese manga, and into that side of Japan. The side of Japan that I don't understand very well. Well, you know, I really got into Japan because of China, because of learning kanji. I loved learning Chinese kanji, and I loved any language that had kanji in it. And I'm slightly interested in Korean because it has that kanji, some kanji component to Old Korean, but some of the pronunciation is the same as well. So that's what I really like. All right. I had a couple of good topics that I wanted to make videos about, but I just don't feel confident. I even filmed some of these with other YouTubers, and then I didn't actually make the video because I felt like I'm going to put 20 hours into editing another video that's not going to do well. That's just going to collapse. And that video was beauty standards in China versus Japan versus America. The kind of beauty standards they have here are very different. I was always made fun of, and I'm still made fun of today by, whoever makes hate comments for being too pale or pasty. The other day in the office, one of my colleagues, American colleagues, said I was pasty like glue. My mother used to say that to me. It was so mean. But actually, that's a good trait over here. I couldn't believe when I came to Asia that everybody was wearing all these long sleeves in the middle of the summer and using umbrellas and things like that to keep the sun off of their skin. And that was a very desired thing over here. So, hey, you know what? Everybody's got different standards there, and things that are popular in America are not necessarily popular here. I was surprised that they really like people that are not so curvy. They're just really thin girls, very thin girls. And as for guys, what kind of muscular guys are not popular in Japan? Sorry to all the gentlemen out there that are really buff and you got a six-pack and some guns. Sorry to all those gentlemen. It is not popular in China and Japan to be really muscular, and it's so popular in America. I can't quite understand why they don't like buff guys. I'm not super into buff guys, but my boyfriend was asking me because he does some muscle training in his room. He said, what do you think about that? I said, it's cool. It's your hobby. It doesn't matter either way to me. You don't have to try to get, really strong or anything. It doesn't matter to me. But for some people, and again, yeah, anyone who didn't pick up on that he's been in several videos has not been watching my videos very carefully. If you didn't pick up on the new boyfriend thing, then you weren't watching very carefully. You didn't watch new videos, you guys. Come on, give my new videos a chance. You're killing it. It's going to take 3 months for the YouTube algorithm to pick those back up. It's killing me, man. Killing me. But eventually, I do have some hope on YouTube because I was feeling really bad probably back in, I don't know, August or July, feeling not so confident about it. But then I did one interview with a girl who's half Japanese and half American, and that did so well. And I just branded it kind of like a reaction video, but it wasn't a reaction video, and people still watched it. And that was one of the most successful videos I did. It gave me hope. It gave me some hope that maybe I can do a variety of videos and people will still watch. Jason, again, I watch all your videos. I can't think of one I didn't like. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. I think the subscribers do watch a lot of the videos, but like I said, only 10% of the views come from subscribers. The rest are from random people watching, and they're very ADD. Let's just say that. Very ADD. So yeah, please enjoy all the videos. There's like 95 out there. The more you watch, the more I make. Because quite honestly, if a video gets a lot of views and I see interest and I see a lot of comments on it, then I feel like, wow, people are into this. And I don't have to feel like I'm showing my travel videos to my family again that they really don't want to watch. Because that makes me feel like I'm bothering everyone. Like, please watch this. I made it. I've spent so much time making it. I don't want to be that person. So if I do a video and it doesn't do well, yeah, you will see a gap. There will be a week or two where I don't post anything probably because I didn't feel so good about the last video. Never stop, never give up, someone said. I'm glad that somebody said, "Neboshitayo." In Japanese, somebody's oversleeping. Thank you for encouraging me there. Sometimes I really need a lot of encouragement. And yes, if a video doesn't perform well and I put a lot of work into it, there is a gap. And every single gap where you've seen where there's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks where I didn't make a video is because I didn't feel very good about the performance of one of the videos and I felt discouraged. Quite honestly, that's why there was a gap. Otherwise, I always have footage in my computer. I always have something to make, but I don't want 2 failures in a row. So I really wait until I have some confidence before I post something. And I think that's unfortunate. That means you get less videos in the end. And I don't think you want that. I don't think anybody wants that. I think you want me to make more stuff, more stuff. I just went to a ninja cafe the other day, and I filmed it. I don't want to post it because same issue. I feel like it's not going to do well. Like my audience is not going to watch this. It's not going to take off because of the way the YouTube algorithm works. It will first put the video on the homepage of the viewers that normally watch your videos. If it doesn't do well with them, the YouTube algorithm just cuts it right there, and the video crashes. And that's what happened this month. And it may take many weeks for the YouTube algorithm to recommend those videos to the right people, to people that are going to appreciate it. I don't know, you guys, but basically, if you want more videos, you got to watch more. That's that. You don't have to donate. You don't have to give me money, although I really appreciate it, especially people like Jim Ross, who just donated very generously to the Broken Camera Lens Fund. You don't have to donate. I don't expect anything from you. I'm not entitled to anything from you. I'm not even entitled to get your view. But if you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. At the end of the day, the way I feel about that is you are not obligated to watch anything I make. You're not obligated to do anything. But at the same time, I'm not obligated to make anything. So that's how it works. If you watch it, I'll make it. If it's not getting watched, I'm not going to make it. I'll just do something else and not stress out about YouTube. Something that I want to bring up is a series of videos that have been on YouTube focusing on the negative things of China or negative things in Japan, specifically Japan hates foreigners. Lots of videos coming out saying Japan hates foreigners, why Japanese don't like foreigners. And that just plays into the whole thing on YouTube that I don't like, that people like negative things. You know, it's human nature that we're naturally drawn to look at something that focuses on negatives. Why I hate China, why I hate Japan, as opposed to why I love China, why I love Japan. Most of you would probably click on the video that's negative, and that's just human nature. So some people have been making videos about why foreigners are not welcome in Japan, why Japanese don't like foreigners, and that could not be further from the truth. That's one thing that I really wanted to counteract with my videos recently, just showing how nice Japanese people are to foreigners. They don't hate foreigners. They don't dislike foreigners. And a lot of that stuff that I saw in those videos was such shallow pity crap that really nobody cares about. Japanese don't like foreigners because foreigners don't have good manners on the train. Japanese don't like foreigners because foreigners stand in the doorway when people are trying to get out. Or Japanese don't like foreigners because foreigners don't clean up their dog's poop after they take it for a walk. Some stupid bullcrap like that. It's just like, oh, this is so YouTube. I mean, you make the smart for making money off of that, but I don't think it sends the right message. It's unfortunate. Yeah. So thanks again, Jason, for the super chat. You're being really nice today. That is how it is, though. All of those series of videos. Don't do this in Japan. 20 things that you shouldn't do in Japan. Shouldn't do in wherever. That's just how it is. Nobita from Japan. Yeah, he does a lot of porn star videos and stuff. Basically, the kind of stuff you would expect to get a lot of clicks. And that is a strategy. But I never liked that, you guys. I never liked that kind of stuff. I didn't want to have to lie to everybody or overemphasize something or exaggerate something to make a video or make a bunch of generalizations to try to make a video. I just want to show what real life is actually like over here and walk around and see the streets and walk around and talk to people and have really low-key, low production videos where it's not scripted. Don't like to do scripted stuff. Very rarely will I do a scripted video. It's usually just off the top of my head, which is why I don't want to do live streams, because I feel like I might say something stupid. If I say something stupid in a pre-recorded video, I just cut it out. But now I really have to be on my A game here. Don't say anything stupid. Will you ever make a video climbing Mount Fuji? Somebody asked. I would love to make travel videos, but guess what? I looked at the analytics. People don't watch my travel videos. I went on this nice trip to the north of Japan, to Iwate, and saw some stuff with my Chinese roommates. If I just branded that as a regular, look at what we saw in Japan video, it didn't give any views. It had to be in line with the theme of the other videos. So shocking people on Mount Fuji. Didn't have to get that stupid. Thanks again, Jason. Man, Jason keeps throwing that out there. True Michiganders have no accent. Your English sounds so neutral. That's not what other people said. A lot of people said, wow, you've been in China and Japan since 2012. I can tell by your accent because you picked up a Chinese accent. Or when it was a Japan video, wow, I can tell that you've been in Japan for a long time because you're starting to sound like you're Japanese. Your English has an accent. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I will refuse that. I deny that. That is not true. That's a Michigan accent, you guys. You're just not used to Michigan or Canadians. Our neighbors to the north in Canada. You see, Michigan is really close to Windsor, so we have that Canadian accent. Love it. Emily watches the videos a lot because I've seen her comments, and I'm getting familiar with your guys' names and your profile pictures. Don't put yourself down, Anming. I think you're braver and more wholehearted than most people. Keep up the good work. Been a fan since you were still in China. Thanks, Anming. Well, thanks, Emily-san. I appreciate that. I really do. I'd like to make some more China content. In fact, I'd like to interview some Chinese people here in Japan and get their side of some issues. I've gotten to the point where I'm more confident to do a little more politically sensitive stuff. We don't have to get into politics, but in the very beginning, I was very sensitive about doing anything that was even slightly controversial at all. And at the point where I did the video with Matt and we talked about the fake polyglot thing, then I was quite confident. That was like all right, no more Miss Nice Girl here. Let's just say it how it is. That stuff's fake. It's fake to a certain extent, you guys. I understand the idea that you want to encourage people to learn languages, and there's some hustle to it though, because at a certain point you're just memorizing phrases, a couple of phrases to throw out there, and you know what is going to come up during a first meeting, a self-introduction, and then you just memorize those phrases and anticipate what they're going to say, and it kind of gives you the illusion of fluency, even if the person really doesn't know the language very well at all. I would like to see some of those people sit down and do a full interview in that language, and quite frankly, they wouldn't be able to pull it off. most of them in most of the languages. But I mean, that's fine. I just want people to be aware of what's going on. You can watch the videos. They're great for entertainment. They're really, really good on YouTube. I mean, that's obvious by how many views the language reaction videos get. And some of the people are very good at the languages, some of them not. One of them that is a guy named Chris, although I don't like his Chinese political videos. That really turned me off of his channel, but his language schools are legit. There are legit polyglots. He's one of them. A couple of super chats came in. I'm missing them. Another one from Jason, and a couple of people wrote something, and somebody said in Japanese, I just saw it went away. Nihonjin no karishi ga itanda ne. Yeah, Nihonjin no karishi ga itanda ne. Your boyfriend is Japanese. Yes, I kind of like... there's a lot of Japanese guys around me. A lot of Japanese guys around me. That's only natural, I think, that I would end up with a Japanese guy. Not that I was chasing Japanese, but good grief. I mean, that's everyone over here. This is Japan, after all. Not a lot of Americans. And if they are Americans over here, they're kind of weird people like me. Because us weirdos, we're not normal Americans over here. If you're giving up 10 years of your life to live in another country, you go to China, you go to Japan, you give up a job, a $62,000 a year job to come over here to take a $20,000 a year teaching position, there's something not right in your head here. As I know from myself. So the other Americans that have been living here for a long time, they're pretty strange people too. Strange like me. So I'd rather have more of a normal person. The locals are a little more grounded, a little more down to earth. Jim Ross said, if you climb Fuji-san, have hiking boots rather than shoes you wore last time. That's a good point. That's a good point, Jim. That's a very good point. Jim was one of the people that encouraged me, just like Greg, our moderator. So thanks again to Jim and Greg for encouraging me to do this second live stream, because I felt so discouraged after the first one. I said, I never want to do this again. I hate this. I had a moment. I had a moment like that, but I had many moments with YouTube as well, feeling that way, and they just kind of get over it. And I had many moments like that learning Chinese and learning Japanese, where I literally took the book, the Japanese book or Chinese book, and threw it against the wall. It's happened before. I was so angry. And at that point, when you get really frustrated with the language or frustrated with yourself, the best thing that you can do is you can let it go for that day. So I let the live stream go, just like when I felt frustrated with Chinese and Japanese. Let it go. Go to bed. Stop thinking about it, and then the next day or a few days later, think about it a little when you calm down and do it again. And that's the secret to learning another language. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to get frustrated. If you're going to throw books at the wall like I did, at least just don't break anything. And then let it go that day. Get your mind off of it, and then try it again another day, because you're going to have lots of failures. Lots of failures. And that's where people drop off, is they get that first frustration, or a couple times they feel that way. I can't do this. And then they throw a book against the wall, and then they don't pick it up again. So I was always the person that would throw a book and throw a microphone. I didn't throw this one. I dropped it by accident. And then let it go for a little while and say, I really got to do that again. So that's why we have this live stream again today, because I had that moment, and then I am the kind of person that says, all right, I got to go back to it again. I got to do this thing. So that's the strategy with learning languages. You have to not be afraid of failure. You have to get angry, let it go, and then move on. Jason said, you're not that weird, just a little. I wouldn't have noticed if you were a little weird. I am indeed a little weird, and I embrace it. I embrace my weirdness for YouTube, for the sake of making videos. And we've made quite a stir, you guys. 160,000 subscribers in under a year. Guess what? That made a lot of new fans, made a lot of people happy. It made some very bitter people unhappy. Specifically here in Japan, there's a group of foreigners that I guess they feel that I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve all this nice stuff that you guys have given me, all these views, all these nice go get them comments. And there were some people that were quite jealous of that, including some veteran YouTubers here in Japan. Kind of pathetic, I think, considering that we don't even have the same audience. They're feeling a sense of competition where there is no competition, because actually I don't have the same audience as them. But, you know, I guess people just feel angry when you make money off of the internet, or I don't know, they feel some rivalry. I don't feel any need to be rivals with anyone. I'm only competing with myself. So yes, there are bitter people, and I'm not going to say any names, but some of them are veteran YouTubers here. Pretty nasty group. I don't know. They weren't super friendly. So I am going to do one video with a veteran YouTuber here in Japan. I'll just blow the secret here. Kemushi-chan is a YouTuber here. You probably haven't heard of her because you guys are like all Xiaoma fans or whatever. You probably are not familiar with a lot of the YouTubers here in Japan, but she's very nice. I reached out to her. She's a friend of a friend. She's a friend of Sam's. Tikio Sam hooked me up with the only person that I wanted to work with here in Japan, which is Kemushi-san. And I know Kelly, but I mean, the only new person that I wanted to work with here was Kemushi-san. And there's one more person in the language learning community, Lindy Botez. I'd like to do a video with her. I think that would be fun. And those are the two on my radar right now. So that's what I'm thinking about. Everyone's like, do one with this guy who has 2 million subscribers, or that guy that has 2 million subscribers. Let's take it easy. Usually the YouTubers do collabs with other YouTubers that are more balanced, or I tend to go down because I just like how nice and friendly the people that are not famous are. When people get a lot of YouTube views and subscribers, they tend to, you know, they know it. They know they're popular, and I don't know, they don't have as good of an attitude. So I hope I don't get that way. But my channel is still rather small. Somebody said, you are the reason why I started to resume my Japanese studies. Thank you so much, and keep going. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. And that's probably the biggest benefit I get out of making these things, is just encouraging people. As much as the haters want to say, oh, you're just patting your own back, you just love to hear people compliment you on your Chinese or Japanese. That is so not true. I'm beyond the encouragement stage. I've been learning Chinese for almost 10 years. When my teachers said it back when I was in school, it meant a lot, but I don't need to be putting it on the internet and get that reinforcement. I'm quite beyond that. More or less, it's about trying to encourage people, and it was about paying off my college debt as well. So thank you very much for the help there. And there was another element to why I started making these, that nobody wanted to watch my home videos. When I came home from my vacations, when I came back to America, my family's like, oh gosh, not again. So I finally found an outlet where somebody wants to watch my videos or wants to talk about these things, because I think I mentioned in other videos, like my dad, he doesn't want to hear about it at all. And it's really hard for me to go home and not talk about the last almost 10 years of my life, because I've been in China and Japan since 2012. I really want to teach you things about stuff you didn't know about China, didn't know about Japan here. We covered it a little last time. I talked about things that will really get you into a lot of trouble in China. For example, taking a bribe. Taking a bribe in China is a big no-no. I was bribed a couple of times when I was an English teacher, and don't take the money. Don't take it, because you're going to regret it. There will be some serious expectations that you're going to like change the kid's grade or something. Don't take any kind of bribe in China, because it's not free money. Another big no-no in China is if you want to get deported, if you'd like to get deported in China, or if you don't want to get deported in China, don't work a second job. They are really strict about only allowing you to work one job, and that is grounds for getting kicked out. It's kind of amazing how strict that point is, as well as one of my friends almost got deported for taking pictures of a protest. That's another thing you don't want to do in China. You can take pictures freely. It's not North Korea. You can take pictures freely in Japan too, especially here in Tokyo because it's a tourist town. I mean, taking pictures of people's faces and stuff without a mask where they're just barefaced or posting them on the internet, you should probably ask for that first. But in China, there's some strict areas where you don't want to be taking pictures, specifically with drones. Gotta be careful with drones. That's how they finally got Serpent ZA kicked out of the country. That Serpent ZA, the original China YouTuber, as he calls himself. That's how they finally got him with the drone thing. They wanted to kick him out for a while for his YouTube stuff, his negative YouTube stuff, but I bet they finally got him with the drone thing. Just make an excuse. Hey, by the way, please press the like button. Just please, because I forgot to mention it again. I think you guys are all subscribed, so I'm not going to say it, but please press the like button. Another thing that could get you in big trouble in China is accepting a service before you ask the price. Always ask the price before you accept a service. In Japan, you're fine with that. There's a set price. If it's a taxi, it's always going to be expensive in Japan because taxis are just expensive here. But if it's in China, make sure you're not getting ripped off when you buy something or when you are getting a service. Like if you go to the dentist, they fix your tooth, you better negotiate the price before they start because they could charge anything they want after you receive the service, and you will get into a big fight with them if you don't pay that money. I've seen that happen several times. Yuki says, there have been many times when I felt unsure if I'd ever be able to succeed in my goals. And you once replied to my comments and gave me hope. Thank you for all you do. Keep it up. Wow. That's a really nice message. I love that. And yes, I do read every single comment. Some people were trying to test me with that. They would write gibberish in the comments section to see if I would heart it or respond to it. And it just made me laugh. Yes, I do read every comment. And I do manage this channel by myself. Nobody's helping me except today. We have a fan, Greg, our moderator, who I really appreciate. He's helping. But other than that, I do all the editing, all the translation, everything by myself. It's a heck of a lot of work. So that's why it takes 20 hours sometimes to make these videos. I want to go back to the golden days last year where I just walked into a Chinese restaurant. I could do a video in a day. That doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, unfortunately. Another thing that is important about things you didn't know about China and Japan, I said that people they don't date so casually. They date quite seriously. Like to have a boyfriend or girlfriend and over here is a big deal. Like people are kind of anticipating that you're going to marry them. And I appreciate that because I met some guys that were not so serious in America, but I appreciate that. But that also means that when you're like in the early dating stages, that you are kind of expected not to date other people, even if you're not in an official relationship yet. So that's a big difference. Know that when you're dating anyone from China or Japan. And by the way, if you know their language, if you know a girl's language or a guy's language, you get major bonus points for that. If that's just a motivator for you right there, you know, you want to learn this language so you can get a girlfriend, get a boyfriend, boom, like knowing Chinese or Japanese automatically makes you a more desirable candidate for someone because you know their culture, they have a connection to you right off the bat. Not that you can just get a girlfriend or boyfriend on that point alone, but it helps a lot. It helps a lot. So I wonder if that's the reason my most popular video is the one where I go up and talk to a few cute girls in Harajuku. I think everyone's got that in the back of their head. Like, if I learn Japanese, can I talk to these girls? Will they be interested in me? My honest opinion, the reality of that is learning Japanese, even a little Japanese, will give you a major advantage. I'm not saying it's a golden ticket, but it helps a lot, especially on Hello Talk or whatever. Not that I would ever use Hello Talk to find dating. I would never do that. The Hello Talk app. No, that's not me. I wouldn't do that 2 times already. That's somebody else who did that. How did you meet your current boyfriend, Anming? Well, you know, one of those. It's a secret. Somebody said, Warren K, do you find Japanese guys to be more attractive than American guys? Will you consider getting married and living in Japan for the foreseeable future? Oh man, this is the other reason I deleted the last live stream. All these personal questions came up. Y'all getting nosy. Y'all getting in my business. Well, since I did put myself out there and I agreed to do this for an hour and a half, so yeah, I would consider staying in Japan. I wouldn't date anyone at this point if I wasn't interested in them, considering them as an option. I think that's the right thing to do, especially when the other person, that's their intention as well. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, but no, I don't specifically like only Japanese guys. That I live in Japan, that's everybody around me. You know, that's 99.9% of your options right there. So it's just natural, I think, that would happen. Not chasing after anyone, that's everyone that's around me. Some of the another thing that surprised me about living in China is is just how sensitive some of the topics are. You don't want to get into this trap. Absolutely do not talk about this in China or in front of Chinese people. The Taiwan issue. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you noticed, but I skate around this so smoothly in my videos when I've had Taiwanese people in the videos or scenes where it came up. I skated around it so smoothly, probably because I'm an international relations major. I studied business when I was in America, and I went to grad school here in Japan and in China, Waseda for just a semester, and then Fudan for the majority of my studies. And I learned the sensitive spots. I learned what you can and can't say, what will get you in trouble. And there's a stereotype that if you're in a Chinese classroom like I was, and you say anything negative about China, you're going to get in big trouble. And that's absolutely not true. It depends on the context. If you're out there on the street with a megaphone starting a protest and you're saying negative things about China, oh, absolutely, you will get in huge trouble for that. But if you're in the context of a classroom and you're having a discussion, I've talked about even things as sensitive as the Tiananmen, I don't know how you guys say it in English, Tiananmen massacre stuff. I've talked about that in class, brought it up in a presentation. You can talk about it. You can talk about these issues, but the thing that will get you in big trouble in China is starting something where you're inciting a protest or you're out publicly with signs. That'll get you in a whole bunch of trouble. But as far as private conversations between friends and even university presentations, you have a lot more ability to talk about those things than most people would think. How about the Hong Kong issue? I wasn't in China when the protests were happening. I was here in Japan doing like an exchange when that was going on. So there were a couple smaller protests. You can talk about that in the classroom. And I imagine, just like my other experiences being a university student in China, that I would just, be ganged up on. Like they would gang up on me. I could say those things and talk about those very sensitive political issues. You can talk about the Taiwan issue. You can talk about the Hong Kong protest. You can talk about all this really sensitive stuff, religious stuff. Somebody asked, are you religious? Yes, I'm a Catholic actually, and a converted Catholic. I converted to Catholicism when I was 19. That's a fun story. And you can talk about these things in class, but realize you're going to be ganged up on. And I was ganged up on. I was the only one who had the, pro-capitalist, anti-Marxist thinking in the classroom, that I was a supporter of the U.S., the only one supporting the U.S. in a class of 40 people, 40 Chinese people versus me in some cases. And we get into these heated arguments, and they'd be kind of shocked to hear a different opinion, because in China, when they had their class discussions with all Chinese people, they're pretty much saying kind of the same, they're pretty much on the same side there. To have me in there, playing devil's advocate, debating them about these different topics, it kind of shocked some of them. They almost didn't expect it. Like, whoa, I've never heard that perspective before. I never heard anyone say that before. Or going into issues like the gun issue. Why do Americans have guns? And I would explain things about the Fourth Amendment and the idea of rebelling against a government that is bad for the people, that takes away people's rights. And that's why we keep that. That's one of the reasons we have the Fourth Amendment in the U.S. And they had never heard that perspective before. So that was kind of interesting, or a religious perspective, because I am a Catholic, or talking about religion. You can talk about anything in the classroom. You can't necessarily write your thesis about anything. And I had a few friends who picked sensitive thesis topics in China. My topic was U.S.-Japan trade friction in the automotive industry, not sensitive. But I had another friend in that Chinese classroom. She was Korean. She wanted to talk about Korean-North Korean relations, South Korea-North Korea relations, and China's role in that for her thesis topic. And whoa, that is enough to get your thesis rejected. And it did, and she had to redo it. So I can tell you what you can and can't say. I know where the lines are drawn, and that's why I feel quite safe here on YouTube, because I know a lot of the context behind these issues, and I know how to skate around them and maneuver, and you guys probably didn't even notice. Because talking about China when you're in Japan, with the relationship those two countries have, is pretty darn sensitive, and you have to know what you're talking about to avoid these pit holes. And luckily, given my background, I do. And hey, if I can go up against a class of 40 Chinese people, 40 Chinese students, and debate them in a second language about a topic, like socialism or Marxism and why capitalism is good, I had that topic. Or debate them on those grounds, then I felt like I could do anything at that point. If I didn't get in trouble for the stuff I said there, if I masterfully maneuvered around that, then I could do anything at that point, or at least that's how I felt. Last from Jason. Jason is former Catholic. Now I'm Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. Well, yeah, I am a Catholic convert. My mother and father are atheists. My grandparents are Catholics, but we skipped a generation, I guess. So I converted to Catholicism. And there is a church here that I go to in Japan, but that's a disappointing thing about China and Japan, not very religious. And I knew a lot of Christian missionaries, quite a lot. That's why it was so funny when people were writing comments like, you're spreading communist propaganda. You're just trying to change the image of China and make China look good. And you know what? I had kind of a adversarial role over there, because I was with the Chinese Christians and trying to kind of promote Christianity. I wasn't a Christian missionary, but I knew a lot. But I was, with them, and yeah, it was exactly the opposite of what the comments said. We had kind of an adversarial role with the local government, but I don't know. I didn't, but some of them did. And the disappointing thing about Japan, too, is, yeah, a lot of people are not religious. And that's a very difficult issue for me dating here. I would like whoever I'm dating, to embrace Catholicism, but I don't know how much hope there is for that. I've never dated another Catholic. That's an unfortunate thing, although I would have liked to. I haven't really had the chance to meet them. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one right there. Okay, well, you guys, it's been an hour and a half. I think that we're going to have to wrap this one up. Oh my gosh, there are 700 people watching right now. You watching my bedhead? It's like 9:30 in the morning here. I got up at 7 and I spent so much time messing with the microphone. I got some bedhead going on and I didn't fix it. So please forgive me. I always feel like people overdo their stuff on Instagram. They overdo their looks and stuff and makeup on YouTube, and you meet these people in real life. Like I have met some of them, and I'm like, you don't look like you look like online, or you don't act like you look like online. The personality and the face didn't match the real person. So I never want that to happen with my channel. The way you see me now is the way I really am. The way I act now is the way I really am. I'm trying to be real with you, honest. If you can get anything from this channel, it's honesty and no BS. So thank you very much. I'm glad that the microphone worked this time. And we had some interesting topics. I hope it fulfilled the theme. I'm not so good at this. We'll try it again. I think I'm going to do another live stream for the 100th video, which is coming up soon. I think we're at like 95 now. So, hey, if you missed some of the videos recently, please check them out. Please hit the like button. Give my new videos a chance. Not that they're bad videos. They're not. They're just not reaching the right audience. So help me out. Watch those videos. Leave a comment. Leave a like. And don't skip any. And don't skip over them. Watch them to the end. And then we'll get those videos promoted to a new audience, and we'll have a bigger and bigger group of you guys to join in on these things. So thanks so much, Greg, to our moderator, and thank you for having patience with me. I'm a newbie. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. So I'll see you for the next video. I think the next video is going to be one about Hello Talk. I'm not sure. I don't expect that to be a high-performing video, but if it gets people to sign up for Hello Talk, then it's worth making. Thank you very much. Somebody said, Warren, thanks for taking Japan to my bedroom and make me want to pass N1. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that people are more interested in Chinese and Japanese. Somebody said, 等会儿见. I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, everyone. I'm going to end this. Bye-bye. All right. Yeah, I didn't fail this time.